Hi there, I go by Lady Casha, and I'm a mystic, a psychic, a healer, a numerologist, and a card reader, among other things. I'm very happy to be here and to connect with you. And I'm going to present to you today energy readings for the new astrological year from the equinox of March 20, 2021 until next equinox in March 2022, as related to the numerological life paths 1 through 9 and 11 with the use of tarot. The life path in numerology can be likened to the sun sign in astrology. It is an important and big part of us, but yet only a part. There are a few other numbers that carry equal weight, and there are many other aspects of the blueprint of your soul. It is what you as a soul already are and know when you enter the planet, and what you will be working with during your time here. It represents challenges, lessons, gifts, and opportunities that you will encounter, and it can be an indicator of vocation. To find your life path, you add the day, month, and year of your birth. The sum is then reduced by adding the numbers until you reach a single digit, except for 11, as illustrated in these examples. I hope you will find your life path reading useful and inspiring. Keep in mind, though, that it is a general reading, so you will need to be discerning. At the same time, as there are no coincidences in this universe, if you found your way here, there is definitely something for you here to hear and know. By checking in with your own soul and your own intuition, you will know what applies to you and your specific situation. If you want to know more about me or have a personal reading, you will find me at astrolada.com. I welcome you and I look forward to hearing from you. Okay, so here we go. Life Path 1. As the year begins, you are in the early stages of an important new phase of your life. As an independent person, you want to form and shape your life by your own ideas, visions, and initiatives. You want to hold the reins and steer the course, and that is greatly emphasized right now. You will have an almost magical ability to create the life you want. With your focus and your thoughts, you can create just about anything. Throughout the year, you will be faced and challenged with a choice that needs to be taken. And it's not a simple choice, but a bigger one that has to do with the direction you're to take from here and on with your life. Will you listen to your heart and your soul, or will you give in to fears and ego? Will you be doing what is right by norms and others, or what is truly right for you? In the past, you have built strength, and whatever challenges you may have had, whatever obstacles you've faced, you have overcome them to a large extent, if not fully, and that is your foundation now. You very much have your destiny in your own hands. The first 4 months of the year, as the sun moves through Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer, it may be a bit difficult for you to forge ahead, as some fears may still be holding you back. You may not fully be able to just yet step onto the path that is in full alignment with your soul. Behaviors and patterns of thinking are holding you back to some degree and even making you feel like a victim. But you are not a victim to anything but yourself, and now is the time to free yourself more deeply and fully so that you can move on. And on you will move. As the sun enters Leo and until it leaves Scorpio, you will have a sense of things becoming lighter and easier as you move away from much of that which has been troubling you, if not all. It can entail a literal move or be a figurative one. In either case, you will feel this to be a turning point and that things are really improving. The last few months of the astrological year up until spring equinox 22 Balance will be the theme. You may be taking a step back to find a place of inner peace and balance, and by doing so, you will be able to see the bigger picture that you need to see. It does not mean giving up, but to get things right by making that inner adjustment first, and then focusing on what it is that you truly desire to create and how to go about it. You may be a bit impulsive during this year, so keep that in mind and check yourself before you speak and act as to make sure where you're coming from. There may be differences of opinion with others, and you will be standing firm in your own convictions. Just be mindful to respect others even if you do not agree with them and even though you may be right. If you fight, you may win, but it may be an empty victory, so it's not worth the effort making any head-on confrontations, if you can avoid it. It will most likely only cause pain to both parties. If someone or something is challenging you, it may be the better idea instead to just walk away. If so, there is no need to explain or make excuses. There is, on the other hand, also very positive energy and influence around you throughout the year, all the time or at crucial times. I see loving support. It can be from family and others that you may regard as family, friends, peer groups, networks, etc. The energy has an element of both happiness and safety to it. There will also be opportunities for cooperation and teamwork that can lead to improvements and also increase prosperity for you. Do not hesitate to show and express your gratitude for all that you have and all that you're given. You seem to be a bit scared of letting go, or maybe not sure on how to just do that. Some pattern or ingrained behavior could be holding you back, especially in the beginning of the year as mentioned. You may believe somehow that your life depends on things remaining the same and or that your safety is in external circumstances. It is not. Especially in these times, we all have to learn that the only thing that ultimately can be trusted for our protection is our soul, your higher self, or whatever is your concept of your spiritual higher power. The only thing we really need is to make that inner spiritual connection and hold on to it. If you do not know how to do that, ask for help. It can be done. And as the year around spring equinox 22 comes to an end, it points to the fact of how important it is that you keep your emotions under control. You may have eyes on you, which is another reason to check yourself and be mindful about your feelings and behaviors. There can be successful conclusions, and you may earn a position of authority and respect if you play your cards well. There will be some elements that you're not aware of, and you may have to look through appearances to find the truth. Work on your spiritual development, educate yourself if needed, and attend to the larger issues of life. You have what it takes to stay on track. Get out of your head and your mind and you'll be good. Remember that the point of your power lies in the present. Making sure that you are in alignment with your true self and purpose, you will find that you are on a trajectory of success throughout the entire year. It may be time for you to put together what you've already learned and collected with the intent of eventually, if not directly, go out and share it with the world. Stick to your goals and don't abandon them even if you would hit a snag or two. The year has an energy of rebirth in it for you, so grasp your inner being and follow it where it takes you. The overall theme and energy for the entire year is of abundance, spiritually, creatively, and emotionally. Also financially, in that you will have what you need so that you can be comfortable. As long as your dreams are anchored in your soul and inner being and not the fleeting desire of the ego, you will be supported. There is an element present of nurturing, of children, animals, nature, art, the home, cooking, friends and family, etc. Things that speak to your heart. I see a definite opportunity for you to blossom. In essence, this year is about you stepping into your soul's energy and power to an extent as never before. Have a wonderful year. Life Path 2. As the year begins, there is a focus for you on financial prosperity and on having a firm foundation for your home life and family life in whatever constellation. You could recently have had a change of living status, and it could have been abrupt and to do with the buying or selling of property. Regardless of if that is the specific case or not, you are in a prosperous and stable time of your life, both materially as well as spiritually. Your challenge is to be fully comfortable in your own skin and with the life that you have, because your self-reliance is the key to your prosperity. You are, or you should be, following your own star. In the past, you have experienced a sense of wholeness as a result of making a link to your higher mind and working with it, regardless of if that was done consciously or not. You also have had a sense of being on the right track, and you probably were, and that which you started is reaching beyond now and into the future. As the sun moves through Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer, you will be cutting ties with something that can still be a source of pain and negativity in your life, despite the good work that you've already done, or rather as a result. There can be some intense feelings connected to this initially, but you need to let go of that which no longer serves your best interest, and that's the only way. This too shall pass, and when you understand that, the healing is there. This is very likely related to something in your outer life, but it has a correlation to the inner, and it could also be all about you. In either case, you will be releasing old ideas that bring you pain and that are negative to make room for something new. As the sun moves through Leo, Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio, you are turning your back to something that no longer feels relevant to you. It may have begun as a disappointment, something not panning out the way you thought, or because something has reached a natural conclusion, but it will be your choice to leave. You may very likely be seeking solitude too in some manner, to turn within to find answers and renew your link to your higher self. A part of you may fear that a dream may not come true, but most likely it will, so let that thought go. The last 4 months, up until spring equinox 22, something new is being born in your life. It could be something creative, like a book you're trying to write, that finally pops out of you and practically writes itself. Or it could be that your business expands, and or your finances taking an upswing. For some, there is also the possibility of pregnancy or the birth of a child, if not yours, for someone close to you. You will continue to cultivate the stillness that you begun during the summer and early fall, and you may have a mystical or psychic experience, and there may be also an esoteric science that will attract your interest. During the year, you are having a matter-of-fact attitude towards life, and you are focused on getting tangible results. At the same time, you are grounded in your spiritual being, so there is a wholesome balance for your efforts. You will also be evaluating what you need to feel fulfilled emotionally, spiritually, physically, and energetically, and then you will go for it with all that you are. At the same time, something in your environment may be challenging to you. You are yourself in a position of strength, but you cannot escape it. So dig deep and pull out what you got. Once that is done, you will be home free in regard to the matter. There will be times during the year when you fear that something will pull the rug out from under you, or that you will get slapped in the face and have to fight for what is yours because someone else wants it. There's no saying that there is truth to it. It may be only a fear. So do not focus on this as to avoid creating it, and make sure to take time for your spiritual practice and doing your own thing. Around the time of spring equinox 22, when the year is coming to a close, you can expect messages regarding money, contracts, and all forms of wheeling and dealing. There is also a great possibility that, founded in the experiences that you have made and the insights that you've reached, you will sooner or later share what you've learned, not only during this year but throughout your life, that you will be a teacher, either formally or informally. You are at the end of an either educational or development phase and are now capable of doing the job, and when you do, your expertise will bring you rewards in the form of money and public recognition. You can trust that the projects you have set in motion can and will move forward, but you cannot rest on your laurels just yet. There may be need for some kind of re-evaluation to better and perfect things. You will find and continue to uproot negative thoughts and beliefs that you still hold. The overall energy for this year has to do with cutting away from old ideas and beliefs that have outlived their purpose. You may also at times rely too much on your intellect and need to listen intently to your intuition. There will, though, be a time and place for the mind too, and you will be reading, studying, and researching in the effort of finding the niche that is yours. When you do, you will be immersed in your path, and it will be smooth sailing from there. Have a wonderful year. Life Path 3. When the year begins, you are in a good and peaceful place with yourself, feeling comfortable in your own skin and good about where you're at. You are in the process of creating the kind of life that you want for yourself, and you are probably in the process of experiencing some kind of change of consciousness, getting a higher understanding of who you truly are. The challenge for you to move forward, that will be ongoing for you throughout the year, is to keep cutting away from old ideas and beliefs that have outlived their purpose. You may at times rely too much on your intellect and your mind, so you need to make space for listening more to your intuition. At the same time, it is by using your mind, by reading, studying, and doing research, that you immerse yourself further in your path, so there's a need for balance. You have had some kind of crisis where your life and your world have been shaken. It has been a growth situation when outsiders could not help you and you had to stand on your own. You probably felt alone and it was difficult, but even though it was hard, it was all right. Something you had to go through to arrive at where you are today. That which transpired is what has made you connect with your inner self. The first 4 months of the year, as the sun moves through Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer, you are standing strong in your spiritual self. You have a grip on your spiritual awareness. So instead of reacting to things occurring in your life, you deal with issues and evolve. You are willing to accept your obligations and take responsibility for your own actions, and you will find yourself making slow, steady, and tangible progress. There is a focus on money and financial stability. If there still are things to wish for in that area, things will improve as a result of actions you do now, not in a flash-in-the-pan kind of way, but in a steady, slow, and sure way. During the time when the Sun travels through Leo, Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio, you will be in an energy where whatever problem you have seems to be taken care of as if by magic. Your ability to create the life you want is amplified during this time, and you can handle everything through your intuitive awareness. Note synchronicities and take advantage of them, and seek metaphysical and esoteric knowledge that will shed light on any question you may have. You may also find someone to hold your hand during the spiritual journey. During the last 4 months of the year up until spring equinox, you will be facing a choice regarding the path forward, and the main and underlying question is if you will follow your heart or your head. Will you go for happy or practical? Something may show up that can look a bit negative at a first glance, but if so, it is only on the surface and in reality a blessing in disguise. So don't be too fast to judge. The energy also speaks about a possible important relationship that could be around the corner, or a current one about to have changes. You are going through a time of rebirth, when you are waking up and moving into spiritual awareness and aligning with your true self and path. Follow your inner higher guidance and remember to stay present. That is where your power lies. A difficult and perhaps long-standing situation is coming to a head and then an end this year. It could be a bad cause that you will be giving up or need to give up and let go of in order for you to get on with the true purpose of your life. The best you can do is to accept the inevitable and move on. You have some fears that you will not be able to keep what you've gained so far, that someone or something will challenge you so that you will have to fight for what is yours. It does not have to be true, but even if it would be, you have what it takes to firmly stand your ground. A new adventure is about to begin as the year we're looking at comes to an end around spring equinox 22. You are ready now to take a giant leap of faith into the unknown future, trusting your instincts without worrying about the consequences. There is an abundance of possibilities ahead of you. This is actually a very good year for you, and it is a good idea to acknowledge that when you can, and even celebrate when opportunity arises. Your plans are solid and your foundation is firm, and you have earned time for rest and relaxation. There is also a need for you to be proactive and not passively let life choose for you. Instead, take charge more fully of your own life. There is some pattern of behavior or thinking that needs to be changed for you to really soar. Intend to cast out negative energies to the extent that you still have them, and replace them with positive thoughts and actions. During the year, you will experience a definite change for the better when it comes to your living status. It could involve the selling and buying of property, but regardless, you are entering a prosperous time and a carefree phase on the whole, with abundance and prosperity in all aspects of your life, not only materially. Be conscious of your spiritual connection and the source of your bounty, and practice the attitude of gratitude for both your inner and outer wealth. Have a wonderful year. Life Path 4. You are in the process of a major change, a transformation, although it can be in the early stages, and there can be fear involved. You may cling to that which is on its way out, but you cannot stop the change from happening. There is a choice that you're facing during this year that needs to be taken, and it is not a simple choice but a bigger one that has to do with the direction you are to take from here and on with your life. The choice is between listening to your head or to your heart. You already know what is the right choice, but it's not always easy, so wrestling with this will be a part of your year. You are experienced and have made insights that in the past has put you in a position of being a teacher of some sort. It comes naturally for you as you share what you have learned. The first 4 months of the year, while the Sun moves through Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer, will be about cutting ties with something that can still be a source of pain or negativity in your life. There can be some intense feelings connected to this initially, but you need to let go of that which no longer serves you or your best interest, and that's the only way. This too shall pass, and when you understand that, the healing is there. This is very likely related to something in your outer life, but it has a correlation to the inner, and it could be all about you. In either case, you will be releasing old ideas that bring you pain and that are negative to make room for the new. The mid 4 months of this year, as the Sun moves through Leo, Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio, you will be experiencing rewards for the hard work that you've done. There is also an indication of a fresh start in all areas, and some may have to do with business and finance. You are about to begin a new venture which will bring positive financial changes. Regardless of what it is exactly, something new is emerging. You will also benefit extra from meditation and from connecting to all things related to the earth, to the soil, such as herbs and crystals and being out in nature. Your spiritual power is at a peak. The last 4 months of the year up until the spring equinox 22, you will feel empowered and your goals will seem clearer than ever as you are embracing your destiny and the fact that you have created it. If an opportunity arises here, a yes to it is probably the answer. It looks like something you are being offered during these months will open your life to new vistas, and you may feel like you are awakening from sleep. There is a lot of light and positive energy being poured into your life at this time. It is very clear that you are waking up and realizing your real work and path in this world, and you are making use of valuable lessons that you've made on what you should and should not do, what works and what doesn't. It's as if you're given a second chance to live a more meaningful existence. This is very pronounced in the reading of your year, along with the encouragement to keep on releasing everything that does not belong to your soul. You are about to either switch your entire belief system or embedding yourself way much deeper in the one you already embrace. You have the ability to transform yourself and create a new and better life. You are moving in the right direction and the road is rising up to meet you as a result. There are many possibilities waiting for you. Sometimes you may doubt your ability and feel like you will not be able to meet the expectations, but you will grow with the task. You are chosen to what is asked of you, not only for what you know and can do, but also because of who you are and the energy you bring. At the end of the year, around the spring equinox, balance will be the theme. You may be taking a step back to find a place of inner peace and harmony, and by doing so you will be able to see the bigger picture that you need to see. It does not mean giving up, but to get things right by making that inner adjustment first and then focusing on what it is that you truly desire to create and how to go about it. You have come a long way, and this will be a transformational year for you, as already mentioned. But there is, as always, more work to be done. It may sound daunting, but that is the nature of life for those who aim high and do not give up until they have gone as far as they can. And especially for a life path 4, who knows how to put in the work and who is here to get results. You have the ability to succeed against all opposition. The only thing holding you back, if something, is yourself. You may be projecting fears and inhibitions to your surroundings, and then you view them as obstacles out there. By recognizing that it is you that set your own limitations through your thoughts and beliefs, you are taking an important step in overcoming them. Overall, for the year, much is happening and there is much for you to juggle, but you will be enjoying it and having a good time. You may, though, need to watch out for spreading yourself too thin and to narrow your choices to maintain or balance your position if need be. There's a hidden magic, and that is how you harmonize inner spiritual development with material growth. Have a wonderful year. Life Path 5. You are in the middle of a turning point in your life, and this is connected to luck and your destiny. You have reached a point where you understand that there is more to life than the external world. Now is the time to commune with your inner self and discover the core of your strength, as the inner self is the source where you create your worldly fortunes. It may appear to be some risk involved somehow, but if you embrace it, luck will ride with you. It is also a time when you can set things in place and receive answers from the universe. A whole new direction is available for you. Of course, you can resist, but the possibility is there. You much likely profit and have a positive outcome if you follow the cues. Throughout the year, there may be a challenge at times in that your belief system can be questioned by someone or several people important to you, and it can make you doubt yourself. Others want you to believe the way they do. You can listen and weigh in, but do not let it stop you. Do what is right for you. Defend if you must, or walk away. You have the ability to succeed with what you are undertaking that is based in your beliefs, and you are in an advantageous position, but you need to face up to the situation and take a stand for yourself. In the past, you have held yourself back from living to the fullest, even though living to the fullest and making experiences is what you, as the Life Path 5, is here to do. You may have had many reasons, but the truth was that you projected fears and inhibitions to the surroundings and then viewed them as obstacles. You may have felt stuck in a situation, but that was not because someone else was doing anything, but because you did not expand your idea of what is possible. You had your blinders on and needed to go deep within yourself to uproot that which was at the bottom of this, to break out of your self-imposed confinement. During the first 4 months of the year, while the Sun moves through Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer, there will be a theme of balance, adaptability, and equilibrium. You will have to carry along several important things all at the same time. Work, family life, several sources of income, a variety of projects, and whatnot. But you will most likely be capable of keeping the balance and be of good cheer. You won't feel it as a burden. The hidden magic is how you are able to maintain inner balance and harmonize your inner spiritual development with material growth. Watch it though, so you do not spread yourself too thin. You may have to narrow your choices to maintain your balance. During the middle months, while the Sun moves through Leo, Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio, there will be a whirlwind of activities. Your social life will pick up, and there may be short trips and a sudden positive surge in the work that you're doing. You may come across as a bit headstrong and aggressive at this time, as you tend to act on your opinions rather than talking about them, even if you're basically a good communicator. If you experience clashes with others, this could be the reason. Overall, be mindful not to let impatience get the best of you and in your way. Despite that the surge of energy feels nice, you may have to make an effort to slow down, at least at times. Make sure to stay connected spiritually and out of your head. That is the bottom line remedy. During the last 4 months of the year up until spring equinox 22, you may be walking away from something because of disappointment or disillusionment, or because a situation has reached a natural conclusion. It could be a relationship, a career, or a job, anything. You may decide to put ordinary life behind, to devote yourself to the search for wisdom because of a sense of stagnation and a need to experience new things. This time could also be an in-between stage when you are leaving the old, or it is leaving you as the life phase is completed, but the new has not yet arrived. A loss of interest in something could come gradually and become stronger during this time too. You are in a process of cutting away from old ideas and beliefs that are outlived. You may also at times rely too much on your intellect and need to listen intently to your intuition. Although there is a time and place for the mind, and you will probably be doing reading, studying, and researching during the year in the effort of finding the niche that is truly yours. When you do, you will be immersed in your path and it will be smooth sailing from there. There is big probability that you will be experiencing a clash of beliefs with your environment this year, who wants you to adapt to their conventional perspective and opinion. But that could also help you clarifying your own position, not at least to yourself. This could mean that you are going against family traditions and creating something new for yourself, developing your own. It is important that you honor your personal values and come to your own conclusions. You have your eyes on what you want, living a good life, having love and stability, prosperity and abundance, feeling safe and secure. Maybe you are also contemplating a move. Around the spring equinox of 22, as the year comes to a head, you will have a situation that you may perceive as stressful. You may fret and worry, but the point is that this is probably not anchored in reality. It is you that are making it more difficult than it is by the way you think about it. It seems like you've taken a small problem and blown it into something huge. It can be a good thing to remember this so that you can reassure yourself and do not hesitate to ask for help if needed so that you can get the proportions back. Once you clear this up, you will gain new momentum and move forward. It looks like a long-standing condition is changing and you will find what you're looking for. Friendship and companionship is highlighted for you in some aspect this year. It is a good time for settling disputes and resolving past differences. Sometimes that is done not by talking, but by moving on, and by doing so, space is also being made for something new. Keep your heart open. If you feel that you struggle with that, address it. Despite some struggles, or maybe as a result of them and their solution, you may be blessed and experience an inner spiritual connection to someone specific or to your own inner being or the universe and all. There is a possibility that you are not recognizing the opportunities that you actually have and that things are better than you think. In reality, you have a lot of things going for you, but you are or may be allowing discontent or self-pity get in the way of you appreciating what you have. This is not to disregard any difficulties that you actually have gone through in the past, but times have changed, and by changing your attitude, you will also change your circumstances and how things progress into the future. For some, it could also be the opposite, that things have been good and made you a bit jaded. In either case, you seem to be disregarding opportunities for growth and happiness, joy and satisfaction, so take a second look. There are things showing up for you, but you need to recognize them and act on them. If you haven't found what you're looking for, keep looking. This year is the end of a cycle for you that has had some suffering to it, and now is the time to fully let go. You need to give up on a bad cause in whatever form and get on with the true purpose of your life. Whatever the situation you are dealing with, you need to accept the inevitable and move on. What makes it difficult is the attachment you're having, but remember that it is your ego that's attached, not your soul, and address that somehow. Let whatever it is go and move on, and you are well on your way up. Have a wonderful year. Life Path 6. You have been shaken to the core. For some reason and in some aspect or all of it. It has been really trying and still is, but in essence it is a wake-up call that is sweeping your life clean of that which is no longer working. You may not be quite convinced that this is so and still hang on to what's been, but it will lead to a fresh start once the dust settles. You will find new doors begin to open for you, new chapters begin to write themselves, and new things entering, all good. Your perspective will shift, and it can be in a light bulb kind of fashion. There could have been forced changes that shook you, and maybe a dramatic ending was made. Somehow bottom was hit. It can be good to know that it will never be as bad again. Yes, you may still be in the aftermath, but it is in the past now, and even though it has been difficult, it was the beginning of a new life that is waiting for you, if you open yourself to it. Your challenge is that you, at least to begin with, do not recognize the opportunities that you actually have, and that things are better than you think. In reality, you have things going for you, but you are allowing discontent or self-pity get in the way of you appreciating it. This is not to disregard any difficulties that you actually have gone through, but times have changed, and by changing your attitude, you will also change your circumstances and how things progress into the future. So take a second look. The first few months of the year, as the sun moves through Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer, there is an energy of good times and even celebration present, and you should be feeling safe and secure. A committed relationship, romantic or otherwise, could be at the forefront. You are moving ahead with your life in a positive way, and it could be about an actual move because of a change in a relationship or a creative project. The foundation you are laying down is becoming solid, and with time it will see you through virtually everything. Progress is seldom linear, but rather a few steps forward and then some back. And during the middle 4 months of the year, as the sun moves through Leo, Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio, it looks like some worry or fear will get a hold of you. It is most likely the past that comes back to haunt you, but not to settle in, more like in a last brush. Whatever it is, it's brought on by some small things that's blown out of proportion by your prior experience and how you still feel about it. You're getting triggered. When we recoup from difficult things, the factual circumstances can be done with and gone, but yet it can torture us in our mind. Until we understand that we need to decondition the mind to have it understand that it is over. Look at this as your opportunity to do some clearing and healing so that you can be done with what you went through more fully. If you need help, reach out. Since this is a general reading, it is hard to say to which extent this applies to a specific individual. It doesn't have to be all-consuming. It can be in regards to a small portion of your life. Remember 2 things. The future is not set in stone, and life is ultimately not about what happens to us, but how we perceive and deal with it. And deal with it you will. These last 4 months of the year, up until spring equinox, there is an energy of completion, of closure and releasing of old conditioning and patterns of both thoughts and behavior. There can be an older man around with relentless energy and drive who inspires, encourages, and supports you in reaching for your dreams. But if it's not an actual physical man, you will have the energy of this care surrounding you. Your self-reliance and confidence will propel you forward. Be open to possibilities that can come up out of nowhere and pay attention to synchronicities. This is an important and to some extent fated year for you when you are at a turning point between the old and the new in a major way. You will be feeling this and that there is a new direction available. You are of course free to resist and will be resisting to some degree in the beginning at least, but the possibility will be there, and if you follow the cues and if you do the inner work of letting go of the past, a positive outcome will follow. When you go for it, luck will ride with you as a part of your destiny. Throughout the year, you are supported in finding your way forward by the surrounding energies. A new experience will be moving into your life and help lift your spirit and change your belief about what is possible. It will encourage you to listen to your heart, and as you do, whatever tension, awkwardness, or loneliness that you have at times been feeling will ease, and you will instead find the balance that may have been absent in your life for a while. Support may also come from your own dreams that will provide direction and help answering your questions. Your focus will be on developing your spiritual grounding and make spirituality the foundation of your life and having it flow through your life, and you will get there. The outcome of the year is wonderful. After all you've gone through, it will feel like a blessing, and indeed you will be blessed. Around the time of the spring equinox in 2022, you will definitely feel how problems are behind you, and it will be a time to relax and enjoy what you worked for. A wish in some area of your life can be answered, and you will feel happy and content. Throughout the year, whenever you feel that there is something stopping or blocking you, go within and see where it is that you are limiting yourself. You are struggling to let go and holding on to trauma or something external that you believe is your safety and protection, although it is probably not so and instead only holding you back from fully stepping into the new and better life that is awaiting. Understand the connection between the inner and the outer and do what you can to remove the blockages within. You may need to go deep inside your psyche and seek answers, but as you do, you will break out of any self-imposed confinement. Seek help if you need. When you recognize that you yourself set your own limitations through thoughts and beliefs, the first and very important step out of the situation is created. You are actually going through a rebirth process that will move you into spiritual awareness if you choose to. If you hit a snag, like the energy in the middle of this year when you may fret and worry, do not believe that anything is lost and do not abandon your goals. You can also move the energy by doing something that ignites your curiosity and invites your creativity. The overshadowing task of the year is to let go. In the beginning, you are not emotionally ready and instead holding on, both mentally and emotionally, to the past. You're clinging to the familiar, what has been, whether it's difficult experiences and emotions, a job, material possessions, a relationship, or an environment. But when you open up and see that it is your fixed ideas of security holding you back from fulfillment, life will open up. Have a wonderful year. Life Path 7. As the year begins, you are in the middle of a turning point in your life, and this is connected to luck and to your destiny. You have reached a point where you understand that there is more to life than the external world. Now is a time to commune with your inner self and discover the core of your strength. The inner self is where your manifestations originate and are created. It may be some risk involved, but if you embrace it, luck will ride with you. It is also a time when you can set things in place and receive answers from the universe. A whole new direction is available for you. Of course you can resist, but the possibility is there. A new experience will move into your life, lift your spirit, and change your beliefs about what is possible. It will encourage you to listen to your heart, and as you do, whatever tension, awkwardness, and loneliness you at times may be feeling will ease, and you will instead find the equilibrium and balance that may have been absent in your life for a while. Support can also come from your own dreams that will provide direction and help answering your questions. I see behind you that your belief system may have been questioned by someone or several people important to you, and that made you to some extent doubt yourself. Others wanted you to believe the way they do. But you did not let that stop you, and you faced up to the situation, took a stand, and asserted yourself. The first 4 months of the year, as the sun moves through Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer, if you do not like the view, change the perspective. Your physical world is not going to change unless you change how you view it, what you think, and what you believe. To some extent you know this already, but you can fine-tune it. If you perceive yourself as a victim because things may be stuck in a rut, then it is very likely that it is your ideas and fixed concepts of life that keeps you stuck, and you need to release both the ideas and associations that are obsolete and no longer working for you. If you feel that things are at a standstill, just know that this is not permanent and have some patience. The middle 4 months of the year, when the sun is moving through Leo, Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio, the energy is happy and harmonious, and it can appear in any situation with a high level of fulfillment and security. What you are seeking and have worked towards is achieved to some extent, and there can be fulfilling and joyous times with family and friends. Remember to show and express gratitude for all that you have. That keeps it flowing. The last 4 months of the year up until spring equinox 22, you will be dealing with a double-edged situation where your power may be constructive or destructive. You will be strong and sharp, using your willpower and courage to reach your goals. So you need to remember the natural law to harm no one and the workings of karma, that everything returns. This is a time for a destruction of illusions and to seek truth and get a clearer understanding of who and what you are. Your focus for this year will, to a great extent, be on financial prosperity and the laying down of a firm foundation for your home and your family life, on creating stability and prosperity in all aspects. You are aware of both your inner and outer wealth, and the understanding of the connection is what will create abundance for you. Your environment seems benevolent towards you, and someone or something is empowering you. You could be recognized for your energy, your drive, your ambition, and your creativity. If you are presented with an opportunity, it is probably a good idea to say yes, since it seems like it can and will open your life to new vistas in very positive ways. But you do have some fears, and you fear that something will hurt, that you will be disappointed or heartbroken. This does not mean it will happen, but if you continue to nurture an emotionally charged belief like that, you run the risk of creating it. So be mindful. It does not look like it will happen, but you need to be aware of how it works with creation so that you can avoid it. The outcome of this year is very bright for you. I see you at the threshold of success when your past efforts start to pay off at the time around spring equinox 22. It will be an important milestone for you. You are understanding the power you have to bring about the life that is truly yours, and you will begin preparing for sharing that which you have learned and gained. You have many options throughout the year, but you may be muddled and confused at times and having trouble distinguishing the good choices from the bad. You need to make a choice and devote your care and consideration to it. Look at the options and opportunities carefully until you find that which resonates with you, not the one others think or what gives you superficial gratification. Beneath this confusion is an abundance of innovative energy. What you truly desire is right under your nose, waiting to be recognized. But until an alternative is picked and worked with, your dreams and ideas remain just that. You will get assistance if you need it, but you will need to ask. During the year, you are rounding a critical bend and heading for something better than before. Life will conspire even now to provide you with that which you need, and you will get a push in the right direction. Ideas and efforts will be met with comprehension and approval, but you need to open up to the magical forces and synchronicities that allows you to connect with and receive it. Share your resources when you can and advise those in need of what you have already learned. When you pass along whatever you have generously and freely, it comes back twofold or more. The overall energy for this year for you speaks about you standing at a fork in the road and not really knowing which path to take. For that and other reasons, you may be procrastinating about choices because there is something about the situation that you are refusing to see as it is. It could be a problem with a person or situation or a thing, and there's a temporary truth, but that has not removed the problem. Sooner or later, a decision must be made. You can't really move forward until you do. You may at times be immobilized by your own fears, and nothing can't be done until the fear is faced. If you act swiftly and decisively, you can turn the situation to your advantage. Have a wonderful year. Life Path 8. As the year begins, there is something hidden in your life. You are unaware of all the circumstances surrounding a situation which may be fluctuating. You must rely on your intuition and also meditation to navigate. Your personal path may be hidden too, or unclear, but it is not a reason to shut down and quit. Instead, keep on. This is a gestation period, and you do best awaiting results rather than push and assert yourself. It is a time of growing slowly, and your best behavior is to be patient, considerate, and receptive to other people and their ideas. This may be a bit uncomfortable for an 8, but it is the attitude that will work for the moment. It is through your focused intent and will that you create the conditions that are conducive to finding and realizing your heart's desire. And your destiny will not be served on a silver platter, but from hard and smart work. You may have a bit of a struggle with this throughout the year. You are not seeing clearly, and you do not have a good handle on how this is supposed to happen all the time. Do not use the fact that the situation is unclear at times, though, throughout the year as an excuse to give up. What you have been focusing on and working on in the past, and that you are keeping on focusing and working on, will bear fruit eventually. Instead, power through. Use your personal will to align with your higher will. View obstacles as challenges and use affirmations to move the energy in desired direction and to connect to your spiritual self. The task may feel intimidating at times, but it looks promising. You are putting either an educational or a development phase behind you that has made you capable, and your expertise has already started to reward you in some form, both in terms of money and public recognition. During the first 4 months of the year, as the Sun moves through Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer, you may be a bit impulsive, so keep that in mind and check yourself before you speak and act, as to make sure where you are coming from. There may be differences of opinion with others, and you will probably be standing firm in your own convictions. But just be mindful to respect others even if you do not agree, and even though you may be right. If you fight, you may win, but it may be an empty victory, so it's not probably worth the effort making any head-on confrontations. As an aide, you always benefit from keeping your ego out of the picture in any power struggles too. If someone or something is challenging you, it may be the better idea instead to just back off. If so, there is no need to explain and make excuses. During the 4 middle months of the year, when the Sun moves through Leo, Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio, you can expect messages regarding money, contracts, and all forms of wheeling and dealing. You will also be making experiences during this time and having insights that you will, at some point sooner or later, share with others. Approach what you are doing and involve yourself with enthusiasm, and let the actual work or activity in itself be the reward. If you are invited to socialize or travel, consider saying yes, thank you, because these kind of things can bring opportunities for your future. The last 4 months of the year, up until spring equinox 22, you are standing strong in your spiritual self. You have a grip on your spiritual awareness, so instead of reacting to things occurring in your life, you deal with the issues and evolve. You are willing to accept your obligations and take responsibility for your actions, and you will find yourself making slow, steady, and tangible progress. There is also a focus on money and financial stability. If there still are things to wish for, things will improve as a result of actions you do now, not in a flash-in-the-pan kind of way, but in a steady, slow, and sure way. You are thinking about or are already turning you back to something that no longer feels relevant to you. It may have begun as a disappointment, something not panning out the way you thought, or it could be because something reached its natural conclusion. But in any case, it will be your choice to leave. If you are not leaving directly, you may very well or likely be seeking solitude in some manner, to turn within to find answers and renew your link to your higher self. A part of you may also fear that a dream may not come true, but it is highly probable that it will, so let that fear go. Something might challenge you throughout the year, something or someone that can be seen as a competition, making you feel that you have to fight for what is yours. It does not have to be entirely true, or in any case not as bad as perceived at first. Whatever it is, you have what it takes to firmly stand your ground. You are in a position of strength, so if you feel that you have to, dig deep and pull out what you got. Once that is done, you will be kind of home free. If you fear you can't, reject that thought. You can. And as the year comes to a head around spring equinox 22, you seem to be having a matter-of-fact attitude, towards your life and be focused on getting tangible results. The challenge you had as the year started and that have been felt on and off during the year, it seems like you rose to it. You are truly on the path of your happy destiny, taking on what is yours. You are grounded in your spiritual being, so there's a wholesome balance. You've evaluated what you need to feel fulfilled emotionally, spiritually, physically, and energetically, and you are going for it. Overall, you have come a long way, but there is always more work to be done. It may sound daunting, but that is the nature of life for those who aim high and do not give up until they have gone as far as they can. The important thing to know is that you have the ability to succeed against all opposition, so do what you are called to do. One of the tasks for this year is to cut away from old ideas and beliefs that have outlived their purpose. You may at times rely too much on your intellect, and you really do need to listen intently to your intuition. On the other hand, there is a time and place for the mind too, and you will be reading, studying, and researching in the effort of finding the niche that is truly yours. When you do, you will be immersed in your path, and it will be smooth sailing from there. The year may not be a very easy one for you to start with, but you will come out of it on top, provided you are willing and make the effort to listen to your soul and your higher mind, or what is your concept of a higher power. It is a period of growth. You are focusing on the practical and material side of life, and you may experience stress and be tired. But that is what happens when you cut yourself off from your spiritual power. So the challenge is for you to find and maintain that inner connection to your spiritual self and not cut yourself off, with the consequence that you would be feeling lonely and without support. The solution to every problem is always spiritual at first, and when you understand that, how it governs the material world too, you will be more than good. Have a wonderful year. Life Path 9. You have experienced some sort of a slap in the face. You may have all that you want, but someone or something has been challenging it, or appear to, and you are fighting to stay on top. You have risen to the challenge and are totally capable of dealing with it, being firm, standing your ground and not giving in. You are not letting any competitor, real or perceived, get the advantage. This may be all-consuming though, and you should think about not giving it more energy than you absolutely have to, and instead focus on your own. Make sure that you take time for yourself and let it go as much as you can. It is really important, especially, that you take time for your spiritual practice, because it is by doing so that you do stand strong. As the year begins, there is something hidden in your life, and will be throughout the year too at times. You are unaware of all the circumstances surrounding a situation which may be fluctuating. You will have to rely on your intuition and also meditation to navigate. Your personal path may be hidden or unclear, but it is not a reason to shut down and quit. Instead, keep on. This is a gestation period, and you do best awaiting results rather than push and assert yourself. It is a time of growing slowly, and your best behavior is to be patient, considerate, and receptive to other people and their ideas. As a 9, you are to a great extent here to use and be an example of spiritual principles at work. So this is a time to perfect your abilities at that. You seem to have recently had some important phase of your life or long-term project come to a conclusion. There's been a completion, and there was success and fulfillment related to that. This did not mean, though, that an ultimate goal was attained. Rather, it was a sort of peak experience where you moved a step closer toward becoming who and what you are and what you are here to do. It could also have been that you had a moment that allowed you to glimpse a deeper meaning and purpose to your life and your journey. You could have experienced some measure of cosmic consciousness even, or had a mystical experience. A moment of an experience like that is all that it takes to change your perception of life and how you deal with it. You are going through a transformation. It is very apparent, and the focus of the first 4 months of this year, especially as the sun moves through Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer. Something is moving and shifting deep within you, and it can be reflected in your outer world. There are changes going on regardless of how you feel about them. You may at times have some fear around these changes, but if you put letting go into practice, another spiritual principle, it will be easier. Any situation this involves will improve quickly when you do not resist. Release all situations, ideas, ideals, and beliefs that no longer serve the purpose, your true purpose. This is a time for you to move closer and into who you really are, not what you believe that you are or other people think you are or should be. The middle 4 months of the year, as the sun moves through Leo, Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio, there will be a lot to juggle. At this time you will have to carry along several important things all at the same time. But you will be able to keep your balance and even be of good cheer, not feeling that anything is a burden really. And that is the hidden magic, that you are able to maintain equilibrium as you balance your inner spiritual development with material growth. One thing to be mindful of is to avoid spreading yourself too thin though, and you may have to narrow your choices a bit to do that. The last 4 months before the year ends and begins anew at the spring equinox 22, you will experience a fresh start, which is a positive reward for the work you've put in. There are elements of worldly status, achievement, material gain, prosperity, and success even. You may be thinking of or actually begin a new venture that will bring positive financial changes to your life. The timing is good, and although there seems to be some risk involved, it looks promising and it will come out okay. Investments of time, money, and energy should pay off nicely. The energy is also connected to the physical body and to proper diet and nutrition. You may look over your eating habits in order to restore or boost your health. This year sees you very strong from the inside and out. You will be having your destiny in your hands, be able to challenge, break through, and overcome every obstacle and move forward with your plans. This is because you are increasingly finding a balance between the physical and the spiritual world, blending the conscious and the subconscious power, listening to your intuition, and calling on your inner knowing to create what you want in the outer. If you came into this year with a feeling of competition and having to fight for your position in a negative way or perceived negative way, you can count on that this gives way as there is a very supportive energy around you, helping you to succeed. You are taking new steps, following what excites you, and there is a little fear around that. But that is a part of the process of stepping into the unknown with its endless possibilities as you expand your horizon. Don't give it power and you'll be fine. When at the end of this year, around spring equinox, you will feel that something new definitely is being born in your life. It could be something creative, like a book you are trying to write that finally pops out of you and practically writes itself, or your business expanding, or your finances taking an upswing. It can for some also mean the possibility of pregnancy or a child being born, if not by you, by someone close. You will have a great deal of enthusiasm and maybe medial experience of some sort. Cultivate inner stillness, that is the baseline, the starting point for it all. There is change and creativity in the air for you this year. You will gain a new momentum and feel enthusiastic as you experience some long-standing condition changing or moving. You will find what you are looking for, in some instances even before you know that you want it. So get on with things, remain upbeat and positive, and incorporate what you've learned. You are stepping into your true self and will make that show. During the year, you will also continuously face a deeper choice that you have to make, to follow your heart or your mind, to listen to your ego or to your soul. That is a choice you make not once and for all, but repeatedly, until it becomes second nature and not a question anymore. The year overall seems to be all about change and finding a new balance for you. You will probably step back at times and find a place of inner peace so that you can see the bigger picture. Your personal path and the manifestation of your true desires come from peace and harmony, and you will dedicate time to meditate, do yoga, use words of power and affirmation, mantras, whatever works for you to align your energy and overcoming tension. Have a wonderful year. Life Path 11. You are in the space of a new emotional beginning. There is a love energy with you, a love based in the spiritual, connecting to something larger. It could be tied to the journey into awareness and higher consciousness that you have already begun. It could also be that you are experiencing a deep spiritual love connection to someone. A connection where there's no room for the ego if it is to work, which could be presenting a bit of a challenge. But on the whole, there is joy and contentment, beauty and pleasure, and you should be feeling good about yourself as a person and where you're at. Throughout the entire year, there are wonderful energies at work for you and on your behalf, and some wish you have may be granted. In the past, you've been carrying out several important things all at the same time. Work, family life, several sources of income, a variety of projects and whatnot. But you have most likely been capable of keeping the balance and be of good cheer. You haven't felt it as a burden. The hidden magic has been how you have been able to maintain inner balance and harmonize your inner spiritual development with material growth. The first 4 months of the year, as the sun moves through Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer, speaks about you standing at a fork in the road and not knowing which path to take. You may be procrastinating about choices because there is something about the situation you are either incapable of or refusing to see as it is. It could be a problem with a person, a situation, or a thing, and there's a temporary truce, but that does not remove the problem. Sooner or later, a decision must be made. You can't move forward until it is. You may too at times be immobilized by your own fears, and nothing can be done until the fear is faced. If you act swiftly and decisively, you can turn the situation around to your advantage. The mid 4 months of the year, as the sun moves through Leo, Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio, you will be experiencing rewards for hard work done. There is also an indication of a fresh start, especially in those areas having to do with business and finance. You are about to begin a new venture which will bring positive financial changes. Regardless of what it is exactly, something new is emerging. You will also benefit extra from meditation and from connecting to all things related to the earth, to the soil, such as herbs and crystals, and being out in nature. Your spiritual power is at a peak. During the last 4 months of the year, an important phase of your life or long-term project is coming to a conclusion. There is a completion and there is success and fulfillment related to it You are reaping rewards. This is not to mean that any ultimate goal is attained, rather it is a peak experience where you are moving a step closer toward becoming who and what you are. It could also be that you are having a moment that allows you to glimpse a deeper meaning and purpose to your life and to your journey. In some area or areas of your life or in some context, you may feel like a victim. But your problem may be that you are being a bit passive and letting life choose for you. So what you need to do is to take charge and choose to choose. The only thing that is in the way for you to liberate yourself fully is in your own mind, your thinking. Transformation begins the moment you affirm your intentions to do away with the negative and replace it with positive thoughts and actions. It does not seem like you have a lot of support from your environment or from some important factor in your environment, but rather there are other people who project their fears and limitations on you. Be aware not to make it yours. Love is a substantial part of your focus this year, and both what you fear and hope for. Love has the capacity to bring up everything unlike it to be healed, so it absolutely goes hand in hand. The deeper the love, the deeper the fear. The outcome of the year, around the time of spring equinox 22, brings up issues of trust and faith, and you may have to work on both. Mistrust and unnecessary secrecy will cause you more problems than it will help you, so do what you need to protect yourself and what is yours, but do not let it slide into being extremely suspicious or downright paranoid. Listen to good advice that you get from people you know are reliable or from your own inner self, but watch out for anyone preying on those that are in need of spiritual support. You may also want or need to take a rest, a time out or vacation. There is change and creativity in the air this year for you. You will gain a new momentum and feel enthusiastic as you experience some long-standing condition changing or moving. You will find what you are looking for, in some instances even before you know that you want it or are looking for it. So get on with things, remain upbeat and positive, and incorporate what you've learned. You are stepping into your true self and will make that show. You may also be a bit impulsive at times, so keep that in mind and check yourself before you speak and before you act, as to make sure where you're coming from. There may be differences of opinion with others, and you will probably be standing firm in your own convictions, but just be mindful to respect others even if you do not agree, and even though you may be right. If you fight, you may win, but it may be an empty victory, so it is probably not worth the effort making any head-on confrontations. It will only cause pain to all parties involved. If someone or something is challenging you, it may be the better idea instead just to back off. If so, there is no need to explain or make excuses. Progress is seldom linear, but rather a few steps forward and then some back. And during the year, it looks like some worry or fear will get a hold of you on and off. You will be triggered, and it is most likely the past that comes back to haunt you, but not to settle in, more like in a last brush, so you can finally deal with it. Whatever it is brought on by some small thing that is blown out of proportion by your prior experience and how you still feel about it. When we recoup from difficult things, the factual circumstances can be done with and gone, but yet it can torture us in our mind, until we understand that we need to decondition the mind to understand that it is over. Look at this as your opportunity to do some clearing and healing so that you can be done with what you went through more fully. If you need help, reach out. Since this is a general reading, it is hard to say to which extent this applies to a specific individual. It doesn't have to be all-consuming. It can be in regards to a small portion of your life. Remember a few things. The future is not set in stone, and life is not about what happens to us, but how we perceive and deal with it. Have a wonderful year.